You know what else stood out to me? If you go back and look at the play-by-play, you go back and look at the box score.
Yeah.
The last shot that Armando Bacot got in this game was with 12 minutes and 47 seconds left in the second half. He went 12 minutes and 47 seconds on the road in a rivalry game in something. I don't want to call this like a must win for North Carolina because that's a complete overstatement. But in a game that program really, really needed, right? He didn't get a touch for the last 12 minutes and 47 seconds. He didn't get a shot for the last 12 minutes and 47 seconds. At some point, you think that this group is going to figure out that, like, we are at our best when we throw it to the big fella and it comes back out because he'll pass it out. He's not afraid to do that. Give him his touches, work it through the paint, and then play inside out. Like, it just
as much as anything, Rob, it's about efficient. Like, you look at the game and they were 57 points on 64 possessions, right? And so you're talking just efficient basketball. He was 50% from the field. So you go there as much as possible. And the other part is they shot 3 free throws.
Fouls, yes.
For the whole game. That was the it's like deciding factor. Duke makes 11 free throws. North Carolina only shoots 3. But you know how many times you get fouled just fighting?
How do you fix this? Like, if you're Hubert, how do you – because it's a fine line here, right? You made the run to the national title game because you kind of let your guards rock, and they got hot in March. But I think what we've seen is, like, Caleb Love and RJ Davis and Caleb Love specifically, they haven't put it together outside of that run in March for a 2-year sample size. So, like, how do you balance this idea that we don't want to take the confidence away from these guys that can be absolute game changers, but also find a way to get them to, like, buy in, right? Is it just put them on the bench? Is it say Caleb?
Put them on the bench for who?
John was asking.
Who are you gonna put in the game?
John was asking. You just you're trying to trend towards playing your best later in the year, and so you got to talk to your team about our best version and our most efficient, because they got pieces. Leaky Black made 3s today. That was huge for them. He was 50% from the field, and he made some big. He missed the big one. He had a great look in the corner, but to be efficient, right? If they're just an efficient basketball team, good luck, right? Because that means they're probably getting to the foul line 18 to 22 times a game, and their points per possession is going to be around 1. Because they're not taking as many tough twos or long, contested 3s. And so how do you get them there is education and buy-in. But I think you don't want to take away their aggression. Those guys, because, we've seen what they can do when they're aggressive.
Okay, so you know how you said how you fix this? Remember at the start of the show when we were talking about 4th grade girls CYO basketball? Let me take you back to St. Bernadette in Westlake, Ohio, when I was in the 4th and 5th and 6th grade. All right. And I lived off of a mixture of mom's pork chops at night. Okay. And a lot of baseline jumpers taken in practice. But when I was on the team, know where the hell the ball is supposed to go.
Helps.
Give your best player the ball. My advice to Hubert Davis is take Caleb Love and RJ Davis to church, because what you're going to say to them after is not appropriate. This is ridiculous. North Carolina, how do you fix it? You fix it by not benching guys, by telling them to get their stuff together. Under no circumstances should RJ Davis and Caleb Love be taking a combined 31 shots and Armando Bacot takes 12. It's unacceptable, inexcusable. If you have an All-American on your team, you don't not feed him. Let Bacot eat. This is not hard. How do you fix it? You fix it by taking those 2 guys aside and saying, do you not recognize who the best player on this team is?
Well, that's the core of the issue.
Know your role.
That's the core of the issue, is that Caleb Love specifically probably thinks that he is the best player on that team. And I don't know if anything's going to get through to him to tell him otherwise. I think he's the most dangerous player on the team. How many other guys on this roster, how many other guys in college basketball right now could go for 27.5 in the Final Four? There's not many. There's not many
That's
that can
great,
do
but
what he did.
Armando Bacot had a double-double in every NCAA tournament game.
Oh,
and broke
I
and
agree.
broke
I agree.
records.
Which is
By
why,
the way,
like,
here's the other thing. You want to know what Carolina's problem is? Pete Nance hasn't even been 25% of what Brady Manick was to Carolina.
yeah,
Pete
that's a
Nance
nice
tonight.
team.
Pete Nance, I'm sorry, Pete, but I think you're a good player. Love your pops. Love your brother. Love the Nance family. Loyal Cavs fan here. The fact of the matter is this. You shot 1 of 10 tonight and 0 of 5 from 3. That can't happen. Okay,
It's not going to do it.
That's not gonna do it.
Yeah,
They
part of that though,
mismanaged.
John, is part of that is just flow, right? Like
Mhm.
when you're in flow, those shots come in a rhythm versus, when guys are dominating the ball, or when it's choppy, like especially for a guy that doesn't create his own, if that makes sense.
It does, but I'm just North Carolina's been the most frustrating team in college basketball, in my humble opinion, because this team was in a national championship game, and they feel a little bit like a broken record here as the season's gone on. When you have an All-American talent, he's only taken 12 shots, and what'd you say? In the last 12 minutes of the game, he didn't take a single shot. I find that hard to believe, and frankly, I find that inexcusable. You got to get your bet. If you got Armando Bacot and the other team doesn't, use Armando.